realizations they may have had. Whether it's Shadow struggling with the realization that he might be an android and then...
I was in a club, they see me in the pub anyway. She saw me like a beacon, brighter than a light, and she was tweaking, running through the streets want me.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy King JWIGGS here today, and we're back with another video. Today, I'm going to be reacting to the origin of Shadow the Hedgehog. So, why am I reacting to this even though I partially already know a lot about him? Well, the thing is, the last thing I've really seen, or my memory's a bit foggy on Shadow entirely. I used to watch Sonic X every Saturday, and I used to watch gameplay on the game, Shadow the Hedgehog with the guns and the demons and all that. And yeah, I just want a little quick recap to get me even more hype for Sonic 3. Sonic 2, yeah, I don't really want to talk too much about the Sonic I just saw, so because I just don't want to spoil anything. But let's get right into it.
Sometimes a hedgehog just needs a gun. Sometimes a
they
hedgehog
do.
is the only thing standing in the way of the obliteration of Earth. Sometimes a hedgehog is the ultimate fucking life form and you just have to deal with it. I ain't even mad though. Usain Bolt's got nothing on this guy. This guy, of course, being Shadow the Hedgehog. He's the most mature, most complex character to hit the Sonic franchise since Eggman decided to grow that sweet stash. Jokes aside, Shadow's character is easily the most interesting compared to the overtly good or overtly evil characters that you find in every nook and cranny of this franchise. Where Sonic's adventures throughout the years have been defined by a clear distinction between good and evil, Shadow blurs this line to the point of disappearing. The developers of the 2005 game Shadow the Hedgehog even admit they purposely made Shadow morally ambiguous so players could form their own opinions of him. So then, why break the mold? Why introduce this red and black hedgehog at all? That's the question. Why change the identity of the Sonic franchise? And what was Sega trying to go for with this edgy fella?
I am the most powerful hedgehog in the world!
There's only like
Indeed.
2
And
y'all.
okay, I'm not saying that Shadow completely changed the identity of the Sonic universe, because the edge factor definitely mellowed out after Sonic 06 vomited on itself, fell onto the floor, and cut itself to pieces on its own edge. Embarrassing. Very embarrassing. But it was all done with good intentions, right? Sega was gonna do something cool, right? If only they had stuck the landing a little better. Shadow's character meant something, damn it, and he still means so much to this very day. But what? What is the true identity of this dark hedgehog? If we find out that, only then will we know his true purpose. Oh, I can't take it anymore. What is the meaning behind this? And this? And android? Is Shadow an android? Turns out the answer is no. Yeah, found it out over the phone. Kinda anticlimactic, but that's life. Sega nailed the realism, am I right? Prepare yourself for the deeper truth to what makes Shadow Shadow. Today is gonna reveal the ultimate explain form.
His neck.
Prepare yourself for the story you never knew.
You never knew.
In order to understand Shadow, we must first know from whence he came, his origins. You likely remember that we touched on them in that video about Shadow being faster than Sonic. Hashtag called out! But this is the story you never knew, and in this show we gotta go deeper. Without repeating too much information from that video, because I don't want to be that guy. I'd rather keep being Grant. So here we go. Shadow's earliest conception, the very idea of him, was born from Project Shadow, a project that would be headed by Gerald Robotnik, Eggman's grandfather, after he initially refused, that is. He believed Project Shadow, a project originally meant to create an immortality formula, overstepped the bounds of mankind. However, Gerald's granddaughter Maria, who he loves very much, is fatally ill with neuroimmune deficiency syndrome, a disease which wears away at her very nervous system. Her loving and borderline sociopathic grandfather, a man whose only happiness comes from his beloved granddaughter, soon discovers Project Shadow could help him find a cure for Maria's AIDS.
Hey, what happened to your granddaughter's?
NIDS.
What happened to your
Fuck
daughter?
yeah, Mr. R. Professor R. What's that? You just gotta use this alien guy's blood to do it? His name is Black Doom? A leader of a race called the Black Arms? If I didn't know any better, I'd say these guys were evil. Seems risky. Well, gotta have an interesting plot somehow, huh, Mr. R? I keep forgetting, sorry. Oh, the guy who's about to make the ultimate life form from the blood of a guy named Black Doom is telling me I need more respect. Ah! Supervillains. Anyways, Robotnik eventually puts the finishing touches on Shadow. There was a precursor or something, but BioLizard just isn't that important for this video. It's all about Shadow, who, after his creation, becomes incredibly close to Maria, forming a genuine friendship and bond with the young girl. Truly a happy sight to behold. Until Gunn raids Robotnik's compound and murders Maria. Definitely harsh. And Shadow ends up in a suspended animation tank locked away for 50 years until our familiar Eggman frees him from his slumber. Which brings us to the beginning of Shadow the Hedgehog. The game. Actually, it more brings us to the beginning of Sonic Adventure 2, but we're gonna skip that in favor of Shadow the Hedgehog. But before I get into that, let me first get into this. I'd like to make an important distinction about Shadow. Like I said before, he's not a hero or a villain. What he is an anti-hero. A sort of neutral good that's kind of bad sometimes.
Look at my
not
boy,
your
Shadow.
typical hero. But unlike most anti-heroes we've encountered over the years, Shadow has proved himself to be quite unique, because a lot of anti-heroes fit a specific mold. Take Wario, for example. He's outwardly very evil and greedy, and is the antagonist to Mario's protagonist. This is a key here, because many anti-heroes in video games are the antagonist to the main character due to their evil intentions. But this can't be said of Shadow. Sigh. You're not sold yet, huh? Well, time to bring out my inner salesman. Let's check out Shadow the Hedgehog, the game. Now, what can I say about this game? Well, for starters, Shadow has a gun. Nothing out of the ordinary here. At the start of the game, Shadow is looking over the city, standing on a hill next to... Ooh, that's one nice tree right there. Looks pretty healthy and mature. I'm sure it can provide ample amounts of shade for the right person. What I would do to lay next to that tree. So yeah, Shadow is standing next to a tree, and he can't remember anything except for a few flashbacks.
Maria!
So Shadow can't remember anything. He can't remember who he is or anything from his past. Only this Maria girl, and that she must mean something. He stares longingly into the distance, trying to gather his thoughts, until the aliens start dropping down from this red cloud thing. Yet another gem from this story. Thanks, Sega. With humanity screaming for help in the distance, Shadow does the ultimate nah brah and turns and walks away. That is until Black Doom stops Shadow, tells him to procure the 7 Chaos Emeralds, as promised, and departs in typical Michael Bay fashion. Shadow, now filled with determination to collect the Chaos Emeralds to uncover his past, speeds off into the city, leading us to the first level, Westopolis. This level introduces us to one of the defining factors of the game, which is that each level features 3 different runs of completion, Hero, Dark, and Normal, that the player has the option to complete. Hero and Dark runs of a level give you optional side tasks to complete. For instance, in Westopolis, you complete the Dark run by killing all the soldiers, then finishing the level. You complete the Hero run by killing all the alien enemies, then finishing the level. And you complete the Neutral run just by finishing the level and neglecting both of those. The paths you take reveal different missing information about Shadow's past, ultimately taking the player to one of 10 different endings. These endings range from Shadow defeating Sonic and moving to destroy the whole planet, to Shadow betraying Black Doom and taking over the world on his own, to Shadow killing Eggman and taking over the Eggman Empire, to Shadow defeating Black Doom and moving to destroy him and his army, to Shadow defeating Black Doom and becoming depressed and admitting he is a research experiment gone deadly wrong. And these are just a few of the endings. What an edgy Hedgehog! His feelings are all over the place. But alas, these endings aren't actually legitimate. They are just distortions of the truth. They show the player what could have happened had Shadow went the route you played him as. Interesting enough. But from a gameplay perspective, kinda stupid. Because the purpose of these endings are to unlock the canon true ending called The Last Story. So in case you're lost, let me reiterate. Sega thought it would be a good idea to have 10 possible endings, all of which are actually distortions of the truth. The player has to play through each false ending to get to the last story. And each time you reach the end, you're required to start at the beginning. Huzzah! I only have to play through Westopolis 10 times to beat the game. Oh, Sega, yet another stroke of brilliance. But back to that last story. Shadow is confronted by Black Doom. At this point, Shadow has gathered all 7 Chaos Emeralds, which Black Doom takes because he is trying to harvest humans as an energy source in a process called the Ritual of Prosperity. Black Doom then explains to Shadow his origins and how he is Shadow's blood daddy, and that he gave old Gerald some blood for the ultimate life form in exchange for the Chaos Emeralds. Black Doom then proceeds to paralyze Shadow, Tails, Knuckles, Rouge, and Amy so that his alien offspring can get a nice meal. But Shadow breaks free just in time as he hears Maria's voice off in the distance. Shadow goes off to fight Black Doom, who attacks with some mind control, sending Shadow into past memories where Professor Gerald talks to Shadow as his son,
did he just pull
and
a I
tells
am
our
your father?
anti-hero that he is the only hope for the planet. Maria's a doll and pops into the frame briefly to give Shadow the necessary confidence boost to take down the enemy, and Shadow comes back to reality, becomes Super Shadow with the Chaos Emeralds, and fights Black Doom, who has turned into Evil Doom. Shadow defeats Evil Doom, destroys a comet, and stares longingly at a picture of Maria and Gerald before saying,
Goodbye forever, Shadow the Hedgehog.
What?
Wow, we played through a billion
That
different
was
endings
edgy.
to ultimately end up at that line. So then, what was Sega going for here? What point were they trying to make about Shadow and the Sonic universe as a whole? Having to play through each of the 10 endings only to unlock the true ending has been widely criticized as a poor choice by many Sonic fans over the years. Quite frankly, we've all been baffled for a decade. We all know Sega introduced Shadow as a way to revamp the Sonic franchise, to bring a gritty realism to an overtly cartoonish world, and this plan didn't work as intended. But it almost did. See, the excruciating journey of playing through all of Shadow's story arcs could have been great because it could have shown us how this morally ambiguous, memoryless character's
he looks really
personality
cool right there.
changes according to the choices he makes. I mean, it does show you that, but it does it badly. This
That makes sense
honestly
why he
is
looks
a
so
very
dark.
realistic concept. Sega just didn't nail the
So
execution.
Sonic's
In
DNA
Sonic Adventure
and
2, they
Black
did nail
Doom's
the
DNA.
execution. At least, nailed it enough. SA2 was the first Sonic game to have anything resembling a serious plot, and it's also the first game where we ever see Shadow. Coincidence? I think not! I won't get into Sonic Adventure since I just spent so long on Shadow the Hedgehog, but the point I'm trying to get at is that from SA2 to Shadow the Hedgehog to Sonic 06, we had an attempt to explore more realistic concepts that were previously off limits for Sonic and friends. After this span of 3 games, the grit and edge died down, letting the realism Shadow was meant to bring to the table be a little more subtle. Maybe a lot more subtle? And thank God for that. And if we're being honest, I wish that wasn't the case. I wish these games had succeeded. I wish the exploration of more realistic themes had been given more development time to actually make something worthwhile. But budgets and corporate fuckery and money-grubbing publishers, you get the idea. I'm of course talking about Shadow the
Yeah, they got
Hedgehog and
Dreadful
Sonic
Forces,
06
but that was
specifically.
trash.
Sonic Adventure 2 was pretty good. So then, if Shadow the Hedgehog had been more fleshed out, if we had actually gotten the message the developers were trying to send, what would that have looked like? Well, I didn't give you a summary of Shadow the Hedgehog's starring game for nothing. Let's analyze that shit. This is the first Sonic game where the character you play as is not only an anti-hero, but can also make choices on how the story and therefore the character progresses. On top of this, Shadow is missing his memories. He has no past, so he's heavily impacted by the present moment. In his wiped mind, he has no history, no friends, no identity, save for knowing damn well he's Shadow the motherfucking Hedgehog. He's just the ultimate life form and doesn't know who he is. Probably a good way to stay humble if we're being honest. When you play through the hero, dark, and neutral runs, you see many different sides and strikingly different morals, all contained within the same character. Although these runs all ultimately lead to the same last story, it should be clear that the 10 hypothetical endings were intended to show what could have been. Ultimately, these fictional promises disappointed us because the story each one hoped to tell was overwritten by the last story. But remember, we're looking at Shadow according to how he was intended to be, not according to how Sega was able to portray him given whatever limitations they may have had. Whether it's Shadow struggling with the realization that he might be an android and then finding out he's not over the phone, or Shadow obeying/disobeying Black Doom, or Shadow hell-bent on destroying the Earth, or hell-bent on saving it, what Sega meant to show us was the complexity of an individual in the face of grandiose events. Sonic, while likable and cool and an all-around good guy, isn't going to shower us with deep knowledge about what it means to succeed in the face of struggle. Not only is his upbringing notably more stable than Shadow's, but his character isn't so dynamic. Fact is, no matter what happens to Sonic, he isn't going to ever say this.
With the power of these emeralds, I'm going to destroy this damn planet.
Stupid 10 endings aside, the last story shows us a more compassionate, legitimate good side of a character who is often portrayed in the light of an enemy. It evokes a different emotion in us when we encounter Shadow than when we come across, say, Wario. You're almost not sure what to think. Shadow's egotistical, sarcastic, and always speaks his mind. But these are qualities possessed by even good people. He isn't evil for the sake of being evil, and while sometimes his actions may be perceived as evil, he isn't doing them in order to be the antagonist of our story. Shadow is our anti-hero. He is willing to do whatever is necessary to accomplish what he feels is right, even when he is in the wrong. This causes him to act callously, jumping into situations without thinking it through. For better or worse, he does it because he feels it's the right course of action. That's an interesting phrase, isn't it? The right course of action. Play through the more lighthearted Sonic games, and the right course of action is obvious according to our benevolent heroes. There's no guesswork, only happy destiny. You see, more one-dimensional characters like Sonic and Tails, their next move is always clear. But for just a second, think about the people in your life. Think about the course of your life. Can you accurately predict the behavior of people around you? How accurately can you predict where your life is going to go? With Sonic and friends at the helm, we can expect a happy ending. But with Shadow in the driver's seat, we were supposed to have all kinds of endings. This is realistic. One would expect a black and red hedgehog made from the blood of evil to have actions that are predictably diabolical. But that's not what happens. Shadow is defined and molded not by a role in a story, but by his own identity. And ironically enough, he's really the only character to struggle with having an identity. His lost memories, sparsely being shown to him in haunting images of Maria's face, leave Shadow feeling lost, yet tied to no one. For the longest time, all he knew is that he's Shadow the Hedgehog, and so his journey is to find out who that is. Who goes under that name? He means to find out through his actions, and only his actions. Because Shadow, with his amnesia and the murder of his only true friend, may be lost in his identity, but he's still him. And so, all that's left to do is exactly what Shadow the Hedgehog would do. Whatever he wants to do. Whatever path he wants to take. Because if he does that, he might just find himself. I really think Sega had good intentions by introducing a character whose identity is molded by the path he chooses, because that's the reality everyone lives. It's not the reality anthropomorphic animals live, but it's the one we live. Taking that step towards reality could have helped the Sonic universe evolve. It didn't pan out, and the edge dial got turned way back. But given enough time, and done correctly, maybe Shadow, by walking his walk, skating his skate, can file down that edge and turn it into something that's not gritty, but real. You just gotta do a better job of storytelling, Sega. Holy Eggpotamus! That's the story you never knew. So yeah, Shadow has a lot to offer the Sonic universe. That's just what I think though. Maybe you disagree. If you do, then post your qualms under yonder. It's the logical thing to do. And if you don't not disagree with those people, then definitely don't not comment on their posts. Know what I'm saying? Alright, enough of these shenanigans. Check out this video we made about Shadow being faster than Sonic. It's true, you know. And, as always, don't forget to subscribe it, bell it, like it, etc. Thanks for watching, kind internet folks. Hope you liked the video. If you made it this far, then I'm guessing you did, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, it's time to head out. See you all sometime very soon. Sometimes, a hedgehog just needs a gun. Sometimes, a hedgehog is the only thing standing in the way of the obliteration of Earth. Sometimes, a hedgehog is the ultimate.
But, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a pretty long vid, but I didn't spend too much time on it. Trying to make sure you guys had enough time with all of that, but you know, oh yeah, I like this shot. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. King JWIGGS out.
I was in a club, they see me in the pub anyway. She saw me like a beacon, brighter than a light.